Oh,
Simon.
oh, it even tells me now, recording in progress.
Wow, would you update or
Because I
something?
couldn't figure that all out by myself. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining on tonight and jumping in and hanging out with me for a little bit. When Elaine and I and a few others were getting together, we were going to do this, the Day of Spoils here at our house. We had some information that we really wanted to get out to you guys. And unfortunately, the event itself didn't happen. But I think what we were going to do is, this is one of the things we're going to talk about during the Day of Spoils. Sean has something that he was going to present. I think it's some pretty cool stuff. Angel, you forwarded me something about Dr. Rife and waves, sound waves, and all this stuff. And Sean's been doing that research for a couple months now. So he's got some really good information. I like to get that on tap and get that presented to you guys. And then Lauren is going to present her stuff as well. She is just so busy right now. She's actually working as a travel nurse, local travel nurse, but she's working on solidifying a regular schedule to where she knows which days of the week she's going to be working. Once that's finalized, then she'll be able to jump on and participate a little bit more in these things. And we can get her online and do her presentation as well. So a lot of things coming down the pipe. Sean and I are getting together later this week, and we're going to talk about some kind of emotion series stuff that we're going to try to put together. So that may be a multiple month project that we're going to do. But a lot of things in the making, and it kind of all stems from what we're going to talk about tonight. When I don't know if you guys, how many were able to jump on and see the convention, but they have put out a ton of information as of here as of late, insofar as some of the studies that they've been performing and just what's been happening. And there seems to be like this huge disconnect from things that they've been doing in the past, but they kind of closed some loops in this last year's convention. And it's kind of like it's all starting to make sense, right? So my goal tonight was to just talk to you about some of those things that have happened, some of the studies that have taken place in the past, some that are currently ongoing. And I'm not going to dive deep into each of these studies. I'm just going to kind of touch upon them. If we want to dive deeper into them, we can, or you can on your own. But I wanted to let you know that what we got, how we got here today, was not by happenstance. It wasn't by luck of the draw. It wasn't the dartboard effect or anything. We're finding out that things that happened were extremely intentional, and now we're going to start making sense of what's happened in the past and where we are now and the kind of direction we're going to, right? So one of the things Dr. Hill mentioned during the convention was, he said from the beginning, doTERRA was intended to be different. They didn't want to create something that had already existed, right? doTERRA was different in a lot of different ways. One of the ways they looked at was the co-impact resourcing, right? And the Healing Hands Foundation. If you've been a part of that at all, or if you've done any kind of research on that at all, you know that doTERRA takes a very vested interest in the communities and in the countries that they go to. It's not just about the plant or about the oil. It's truly about making that area better. And it's what those people need. It's not what doTERRA wants to bring to them. It's what does that area need? Is it a well? Is it a school? Is it a hospital? And so that co-impact sourcing and the Healing Hands Foundation have really played hugely and making things better for some people that just don't have it very good. Another thing they wanted to emphasize was the culture of doTERRA. They started out small, and they have grown into one of the largest essential oil companies, right? but their focus is trying to maintain the heart and the soul of that small company. And actually the way they're able to do that is because of me and you, because of the way we share the oils with other folks, because of the way some of us run our businesses, because we have personal relationships with our people. This actually enables corporate doTERRA to stay in that small business, that hometown small business mind frame. So kudos to all of you that are a part of this.
I'm having a hard time hearing you with all the background noise.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead.
Kim, I think Kim needs to mute, honey. Can you do that?
I'm going to go ahead and just mute everybody. And if you guys need to ask, I'll unmute myself. So, yeah, I got happy. I got click happy with the mute button there. So, all right. So, the other thing they want that doTERRA was looking for is they wanted to be different in their oils. A lot of people offer oils, but doTERRA wanted to be different. They didn't want to do something that was already done, right? They wanted to define scientifically what an essential oil is. And I think they've done that pretty well. And we're going to expound upon a couple of those things here. And it's kind of the springboard was to define the purity of the essential oils that they use. And what that did is they really wanted to move their oils into the mainstream and be a part of that next level stuff. That's where they wanted to take it. And by the end, you're going to find out, I think, where how we got there, right? So I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Hey, Angela, before you get started, there was one of the girls that was trying to just messaged me on Facebook on that group and said she can't find a link.
Do you have her email address?
No, but it's Carolyn. Let me see if I can ask her real quick. I'm sorry for jumping in.
No, we'll get her on.
I can copy the link and send it. Let me try.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, Carolyn just messaged the group and said that I don't know if she was having trouble or can't find anything.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I was talking to Elaine the other day and I said, you know what, Elaine, I figured out that doTERRA is my new in company, because once I started doing this research and looking into things, one word I've always used to describe doTERRA is the integrity of them. You guys that have been around a while know that doTERRA is one of the few companies that I've ever been experienced that has the integrity level that they do. And when I talk about the integrity level, it's not about the product. It's about being stewards of the world, of the community that they live in. Some of you guys may remember that a long time ago, well, a handful of years ago, we used to have an oil called white fur. It's not around anymore because what they found out was they were actually depleting the resource that from where this oil was being produced. And doTERRA didn't have to have a business meeting or anything of that nature. Once they determined that this, in fact, was they're depleting a resource, they immediately stopped production of the oil. Because when you look at doTERRA, it means gifts of the earth. So how can you be gifts of the earth if you're going to deplete a resource, right? So the news media picked up on this, that they were just discontinuing this oil and not having any kind of substitute oil at the time. And the media was like, well, what are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do with everything you have in stock? And what are you going to do to replace the oil? And they said, well, we'll sell whatever we have in stock, but it's not about replacing the oil. It's about finding an oil that has the qualities that we're looking for. And it'll take our scientists and our teams time and money to do that research and find out what oil is going to replace that. So it wasn't about the oil. It was about just getting the right oil to replace that. And it was a couple years later when they introduced Siberian fir, is basically the replacement of white fir. But I mean, you know, again, they didn't have to hold a business meeting to make all these decisions. They just did it. They're very intentional about some of the moves they made. And again, you're going to see where these intentions came from and where they're heading to. And doTERRA is also very inspirational company for me. Whenever I go to an event or whenever I sit online and look at some of their trainings, I can't help but get kind of fired up and kind of look at what can we do on this end to kind of support our members, or what can we do to support corporate, or what can we do just getting people together to get out and have a good time and learn about different things. So it's definitely motivated me to do things differently and do different things at the same time. So let's talk about some of the studies that have been around. I'm going to start way back in 2013. Some of you guys may have remembered when the news media covered this, and they said, okay, we're going to put essential oils basically in the waiting room of Vanderbilt Hospital. And one of the nurses actually was on tape saying that she didn't initially believe the essential oils were going to do anything. She actually thought they were like voodoo oils. But once the results were in from the study, she figured she started singing a different tune. She's like, hey, maybe these oils do have something, and there is something about them. And you can see real quick, this is just a quick snapshot of what the study consisted of. And basically what they were looking at was, how often do you feel overwhelmed by stress in the workplace? And they were talking specifically with the nurses. And you can see where the gold, where it's before the study started, you can see that there was a lot of stress and there was a lot of people being overwhelmed. But once the aromatherapy was initiated and used for 30 days, you can see where there was definitely a swing in the moods. People were able to handle situations better, and they weren't feeling as overwhelmed. There's a lot more to this study and to all the studies that I'm talking about tonight, but you know, these are just the basic gist of it. So this was way back in 2013, right? So, okay, cool. Hospital has a study. I'm going to fast forward a little bit to 2018, when this was the DREAM convention, and Roseman University was one of the talking folks at this convention. Now, bear in mind, when we talk about Roseman University, this is quite an organization, right? I mean, just look at some of the programs that they offer, and this is pretty prestigious group of folks here, right? And Dr. Jeffrey Talbot we drop by, talk to Dr. Hill a few times a year, and your conversations were polite, but they really didn't go anywhere. Nothing was really formulated from it. There was really no conclusion to these conversations that they had. But after a while, Dr. Hill and Dr. Talbot got down, basically started talking business finally, and Dr. Talbot let Dr. Hill know something of a little secret that they were doing at Roseman University. See, unknown to doTERRA, that for 2 years, Roseman University was not only testing the quality of doTERRA oils, but they were also testing the quality of 4 different oil companies. Nobody knew this was going on. What they were testing was how the oils were how they were used, where they were metabolized, basically what I'm talking about here, folks, is they were working on the pharmacokinetics of oils. This is something that they have always done for medications. They were now applying that same science, that same technology to essential oils. This had never been done before. doTERRA had no idea that Roseman University not only was testing them, but they had been testing them for quite a while. What were the results of, there were a lot of results that came out, but these were the 3 hallmark characteristics that they pinged on first. And one thing was they confirmed this oil effect, and you can see that the essential oils potentially induced therapeutically relevant signaling pathways. They were able to actually chase the signaling pathway of how that essential oil worked within the body, the same exact way they were able to do it with pharmaceutical medications. The other big thing was the effects of doTERRA essential oils were not replicated by any other single major component, right? And the essential oils from different competitors had minimal or opposite cellular signaling effects. They were triggering this study went quite in depth. And they were talking about signaling effects and what turns things on and what turns things off. It got pretty deep into it. And no other competitor had the same response that doTERRA essential oils had. So that was pretty cool. I mean, you know, this had never been done before. And we kind of knew this, but we never had the science behind it to prove that this is what doTERRA essential oils did. Then we started getting this proof. So that's cool. Now we're going to fast forward a little bit to 2019. And when we had a couple of new products introduced, right? We looked at, we have adaptive, we had capsules and oils and roller balls. This line was launched, and Roseman University actually did a study on this because they wanted to study the pathways on the adaptive line. And again, they found out there's a lot going on, but they were actually able to clinically prove that some signaling devices were turned on, others were turned off. And what we thought this oil did was actually being proven through Roseman University. Has anybody out there, any of you guys use the adaptive line, whether it's the oil or the, yeah.
I might consider the few months I've had at work, I'm considering getting the adaptive stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. People that have been using it have been finding it to be very effective. You know, it's not an oil I use regularly, or it's not a capsule, a supplement that I use regularly, but when I am going out to teach that day or for the evening, it's not uncommon for me to throw a little bit of adaptive on the bottoms of my feet, back of my neck, or on my wrist, just to kind of calm me down a little bit, help me stay focused, right?
Yeah, I love it, Angela. I think it's fantastic. And I've been sharing it. Well, my daughter, who's 21, has been sharing it a lot with her peers. And this has been a crazy year, right? 2 years now, we should be saying 2
Right.
years. And there's just so many things that have come up for people. And that age group has gone through some really drastic changes, you know, related to college or their jobs or all of those things. They don't have necessarily the skill set that we have. And I feel like the anxiety has been pretty high. And that is what she has been hearing. And that's what she shares. And they love it.
Yeah.
So encouraging. So my 8-year-old, the whole way up to me, and I probably use it minimum every other day. Just to show you how stressed out I am.
Now, when do you take it, Noelle? Do you take it in the morning, lunchtime, evening? What do you find works best for you?
I could take it before bed. It doesn't seem to affect me. My husband cannot take it before bed. He will not sleep. So I think it's important for you to understand what works best for you. But I typically, like you said, if I have something big going on that day and I want a clear mind, I need to kind of lower my
throttle back a little bit.
Yeah. And it does that. So it could just be teaching, if I'm teaching that day. It could be something related to doTERRA teaching. It could be, we've just had a lot going on the last month. And yeah, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I would say that's my word.
Yeah,
Like when I would say I don't get so much anxious as I feel overwhelmed. And that's when I go to it.
that's your go-to. Cool. Thanks.
And I use it as a nasal inhaler in the morning, and I do it in conjunction with balance, which is what I've always taken. Also as a nasal inhaler. I can't tell you exactly what it does for me, other than I notice when I don't take it.
Get it.
No,
With
you know what I'm
That's
saying?
okay.
It's like, I can't tell you that I'm less anxious. I can't tell you that I'm, less whatever. It's just, it's hard to explain. It's just,
We'll ask Butch, okay?
yeah, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, look what I've gone through in the last 6 months. I mean, it's just, I retired, I moved, we got a new place. I mean, it's just learning a whole new area. It's just, I
Yeah.
mean, nowhere near as much as probably a lot of other people, but still, it's out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, I thought the balance was always good. It always kept me centered and kept me, grounded. I think this in tandem with the balance even does that even more for me. But I can't, like she said, I can't do it at night. I have to do it in the morning.
Okay.
Hi, this is Angel here. I'm
Hi.
on with Elaine. So I take adaptive at night because I need to quiet my mind from all the racing thoughts. So I'll do a capsule at night, and then I take the oil and put it in my diffuser and actually diffuse it at night. The roller ball I just keep with me during the day. And if I start feeling anxious about something, that's when I use the roller ball.
Cool. All right. What about turmeric? How many of you guys out there use turmeric? I find this is a phenomenal product that came along because of the uniqueness of it, right? It has the powder and the oil all in the same capsule. This capsule took 2 years to make because they were working on basically the pressure within the capsule to where it would release the oil so the body can get the most benefit from it, right? So the importance or the cool part about this dual cap is, we have the powder, which from the powder we get the curcuminoid benefits from that, right? So that supports the brain health, it supports immune system, it supports healthy inflammation response, right? And it helps fight free radicals. Now the oil gives us the benefits from the turmerones. The turmerones help us provide us with healthy glucose metabolism. It supports healthy cardiovascular system. It also a healthy nervous and cell function, internal, and it helps with increased curcumin potency and the absorption. The fascinating part about the oil and the powder that work together is the study that showed that when combining the curcumin with the essential oil, it increases the bioavailability of the curcumin 11 times, right? So you're getting not just the initial impact, but because they're working together, we get 11 times that. So that was just something that was phenomenal in as they were doing this study and they found this out. And this is why they were so determined on figuring out the proper pressure on this capsule so that they could get it out to us so that we could benefit from this. And I just thought it was, 11-fold is phenomenal. Another big product that came out was Copaiba, tomato. It doesn't matter how you say it, right? But here's the thing with Copaiba, and then this was big when CBD oil was starting to be the go-to. I'm not going to focus too much on the CBD oil aspect of it, but when we talk about Copaiba, what Roseman University was finding out was that this endocannabinoid system acts as a major regulator to keep our body in homeostasis. It's a system of receptors and enzymes and molecules. And you can see the CB1 and the CB2 receptor sites. The CB2 is primarily the endocrine system and the immune system, right? And that's where the Cobaiba is focused on. It kind of focuses on the CB2 receptors. What they found out was that the Cobaiba directly reacts with the CB2 receptors. CBD had no direct binding to the CB receptors. Roseman University bought 6 different oils from Amazon. And aside from them saying, God, that was complicated enough because they were having a hard time finding what could possibly be a good CBD oil. And I use that term loosely. But when they got those 6 oils, once they did a study on them, they found out that 5 of them were purely adulterated, diluted oils. They had carrier oils in it, and it wasn't the quality CBD oil that you need. The one oil that did pass had strong biological THC activities, which means there was a lot of activity in the CB1 receptors. The THC is the effective chemical in marijuana, and that's going to affect the brain and the central nervous system. And that's not the systems that doTERRA wanted to affect. We want to make sure that we were focusing on the endocrine system and the immune system. And in order to do that, you have to stay focused on the CB2 receptors. And with the Cobaiba oil, they were able to do that. Now, here's something else that came about from that year's convention. They did a study, and they wanted to find out how long does lavender essential oil stay in the body. Now, we know that lavender has a high concentration of linalool, and what that does, linalool helps relax the smooth muscles in the body, and it can also help with sadness or anxiety, right? We all know that lavender oil has these calming effects. But what we didn't know is how long lavender oil lasted in the body. Well, they did a study and they found out that lavender has a half-life of 1 hour. Again, this has never been tested before, never been studied before. So, but doTERRA was able to figure out that their lavender oil had a half-life of 1 hour. The anticipated, what they projected from this was eventually they're going to do this with all of their oils. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of research, but eventually we're going to start seeing what a half-life is for the frankincense, for the peppermint, for the lemon, and all of those oils. But again, this has never been done before, and doTERRA is the only ones that is doing this. So they're leading they're leading the pack by doing this. I talk a lot about lavender oil because this is one of the most highly used oils, one of the more common oils that people, most everybody is familiar with, right? So this year they came out and they said doTERRA is pharmaceutical grade. And I was like, what the frack is this? What does this mean? How did they get here? How are they able to say this? And again, they went back and they were referring to a bunch of studies, and why they're able to say this is because an outside entity, a medical journal, came to them and they did a study with doTERRA oils. And this is a study that Sean helped me track down, and I have a hard copy of this now. But this is the Journal of Pharmaceutical and Biomedical Analysis. This is us going into their arena. This is them saying doTERRA lavender essential oil is pharmaceutical grade, right? So as we're compiling all this information, we're finding out that 2/3 of the lavender oils that are out there are highly adulterated and poor quality, right? So what does this mean, right? 2/3 of them are highly adulterated or poor quality. So that means even the third that are good, there's really no guarantee that it's a really good oil, right? So the two main constituents in lavender are linalool or linalool acetate. This makes up over 60% of the oil, right? Now, the industry standard, here's an interesting fact I want you guys to know. The industry standard for quality is somewhere between 20% and 45% of linalool in that oil. Okay. So you have anywhere between crap and better crap for getting this lavender oil, right? So doTERRA went back and they looked at some batches of previous lavender oil, and they went back 4 years and they tested 133 batches of lavender oil. Now, industry standard is somewhere between 20 and 40%, right? When they looked at those batches, the deviation for linalool was 1.23%. For linalool acetate was 1.91%. 133 batches, 4 years, and that's the window that the difference of grade and quality. doTERRA nailed it on potency and consistency. This is the only way that they are able to take their oils into the field, into the medical world, to do that further testing, right? And this is, you know, we all know that they don't have a total control over these plants when they're being, you know, Mother Nature can play heck with some of this stuff where it's grown and some of the weather that happens there. But for 4 years, in those 133 batches, they almost had the exact same consistency with all of them.
Angelo, that's such a great point. And maybe you're going to touch on this later, but they have such a unique relationship with their growers that they know what's going on at that end. It's just, that always blows me away.
Yeah, they don't just have people over there. They know the families, they know the growers. They have a direct relationship with these folks, and that's what I find fascinating. It's they're always where the boots on the ground kind of thing. These aren't just people they occasionally see over Zoom. They go to these places.
And
Yeah, and they're not just,
go ahead.
they're not just, going to a market where lavender is sold. They build that relationship with the farmer and train the farmer to harvest them according to what doTERRA's research has shown is going to be the best product. Like, you might not get as much out of the peppermint. I just watched the peppermint video a couple of days ago. You might not get as much oil from the peppermint plant, but you're getting the highest potency oil. And they've agreed to do that for us. And that's just amazing.
Absolutely.
Angelo, in our research, don't we find that like normal pharmaceuticals, so your ACE inhibitors or your beta blockers or whatnot, could have anywhere from a 5 to 15% consistency and still be approved by the FDA?
Correct.
Isn't that the numbers we came up with?
Yeah, there's a 5% waiver or window. So when a medication is made, if it's 100 milligrams per se, that means that batch can either be 105 milligrams or 95 milligrams. It's never going to be exactly that 100 milligrams. So
that being said, a 5% error for something that is prescribed and is supposedly highly regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, yet doTERRA is able to turn around and have a variance of less than 2%.
With Mother Nature at control.
Correct.
Right. So yeah, mic drop.
Angelo,
Yes.
can you explain to me the industry standard needs a certain percent of these, which is 20 to 45% of linalool,
Right.
but the deviation for the linalool was 1.23 and 1.91%. What was the amount of linalool in doTERRA's lavender?
60% of doTERRA lavender oil is linalool.
Thank you.
That was on there somewhere, but I forget where.
Okay, good questions though. But Noelle, to go back to what you were saying about the personal relationships with the growers, and they know the farmers. It reminds me of the story of Haiti when they went to go start their relationship with them down and harvesting vetiver oil. Now, vetiver is very common oil, but they would harvest that every 6 months because that's the plant that was putting a roof over their head and putting food on the table. But doTERRA's science behind it, they said, in order for it to have the therapeutic grade that we want in our oils, that we demand in our oils, it has to stay in the ground for 18 months. And the farmers looked at them and they said, there's no way we could grow, we can let that stay in the ground for 18 months. We have to eat, we have to put, we need food on the table, we need shelter. So doTERRA actually worked with them and they said, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pay you not to harvest your vetiver. We're going to give you fair trade, but don't harvest it for 18 months. And the Haitians looked at them and they thought that they were just crazy because it was ridiculous that they were going to offer them money to not harvest their plant. But that relationship has just thrived ever since. And that has changed many, many lives, but not just the farmers, but the communities that the farmers are in. They're so much in a better spot today than they were several years ago. So that's the kind of integrity and that's the kind of intention, again, that doTERRA has. So what's next, right? So they've already done studies 1, 2, and 3, right? They're continuing to do those studies with some other oils. As they continue to do this, there's other studies that need to be done. We need to figure out some different delivery options and then efficacy as well, right? So for study number 4, what if we had a way to deliver essential oils in a way that has never been done before? I don't know, when I first read that, I was like, what? I was like, aromatically, internally, or topically. I don't understand what other ways there can be, right? But they have been doing some research and they have a novel delivery system to get the oils deeper and further into the body, making them more absorbable and more usable within the body. Basically, this is looking into the pharmacokinetics and dosing. This is part of the dosing aspect of it, right? So this is, again, ongoing. Not sure when we're going to start to see this stuff manifest, but I can tell from the folks at convention that they are very excited about this next study. And then study number 5 is the efficacy. And here's something. What would you say if I told you that they're partnering with a renowned university that gets billions of dollars in grant money, and they came to doTERRA because they want to be a part of what doTERRA is doing? This isn't, they would not let us in what this entity was or who these folks are, but they wanted to make sure that these people saw what doTERRA is doing and they are requesting to come partner with us. I think that's phenomenal. I think that is definitely setting us into the mainstream. And this has not only great potential, but I think this partnership is something that's going to turn out to be something that it's going to be so far beyond what we initially dreamed of. I'm kind of excited about to see what's going to happen with it and where we're going. Now this year, we came out with the new Abode line, right? So we got the new home cleaning products. I don't know about you guys. Has anybody out there had an opportunity to use the Abode oil or the products?
That looks interesting. I might need to get that to clean our classroom with.
This is a fantastic oil. It actually has some cleaning products that go with it. There's a multi-purpose, multi-surface spray cleaner. There's dishwashing, both hand washing and dishwasher washing, laundry. There's what else, guys? Hand lotion,
And
Right.
soap.
hand soap,
Yeah.
right? The hand soap.
Oil, yeah, the oil.
And
Right.
I love just diffusing the oil for an air purifier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what we did. We had so the stomach bug is scary at my house because I have 9 kids,
Yeah.
and that could be, it could just be really bad. And my son, who's 19, got home from work and just started throwing up. Not a good thing.
No,
And
no,
we
that's
shut
when,
him in a room, and I just loaded every single diffuser with the abode. Yeah. It only took me about a month to stop calling it Adobe.
okay, so
Thank
I
you.
wasn't.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah, right.
you.
Talking about that.
My sister and I were at convention together, and we were the only 2 people, but we both did it. I'm like, oh, we must be dyslexic. But
Yeah.
it is so light and refreshing. And years ago, I heard, I don't remember when this happened. If anyone else was there, please tell me. But Dr. Hill was talking about, we sent On Guard and we sent Purify. We sent a couple oils in to have some research done on them. And they sent us back the results, and we thought they got them mixed up.
Right. I remember that. I remember that
You
now.
remember that?
Yes,
And
I do.
so somebody at conventions the night before the reveal said to me, does anybody have any guesses what? And I knew this person was in the know. And I was like, so here's my guess. I think they're going to reformulate On Guard to make it like Purify. And to me, it's like On Guard and Purify had a baby. That's what it sounds like to me. That's my thing.
That's a new one. I'm saving that one to use on my sister for future reference.
Now, see, when I first smelt Abode or Adobe, I thought it was Purify Light because there's definitely hints of Purify,
Oh, absolutely.
but
Yep.
it's definitely not as strong as Purify. As far
And
as
I'm praise the Lord, because I can't handle a ton of Purify.
No.
Oh, I love Purify.
Oh, I can't
That's
handle
Angel,
one.
not me.
That's a good one.
So here's what about the cleaning products that came out with this? What do you guys think of the
I
I
love
think-
the dish soap. I
Yes.
love
Yes.
the dish
Yeah.
soap.
I'm
I
gonna
love
have
the
to
dish
get
soap.
some for the classroom at the rate this is going.
Yeah, I like the dish soap also, but I think the pump is kind of wimpy. I think they need to redesign the pump.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
So the
Which
pump
one
for
did you
the,
use?
The one that came with it in the kit.
You need 2
There's
hands. You
the
gotta use
dump
one hand to
option.
pump
You
it.
can do like
instead of
a
just going
olive
like
oil
this.
option.
Mm. Yeah, or else a sturdier
Yeah.
pump.
so
If
what
I-
I
Go ahead.
what I found from reading in other groups with the dish soap and the glass container is don't fill up the dish soap all the way to the top in that glass container. It should only be filled up a fourth of the way to halfway and then top it off with water.
What?
Yep.
So it's
And you
really a
sh-
concentrate?
It's not designed to be a concentrate,
I
It
didn't think
works that
so.
way.
but Angel, you're saying that you're finding it works better if we do dilute it down just a little bit, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
See, this is why I love this group because we keep learning from.
Yeah, for sure.
We're so connected in
great.
so many different groups. It's this is how we.
I have
ahead.
really hard water. I don't know if anybody else deals with that, but it is working really well.
I'm on a well, so
Yep, I'm on a well and it's working really well. Now my dishwasher's broken.
mine is too, so.
All right, you got 8 other
Yeah,
kids
the
around
dish
there.
pods. Has anybody tried the dish pods? Did they like them?
Yeah, we
Yes,
use them.
I
after we
tried-
use up
I
a whole
have-
bag.
I tried them and I have hard water at home. And it's the first green cleaning dishwasher tab that I've been able to use with my hard water, which is city town water. and does not leave a residue on the dishes after they are done.
Nice.
Awesome.
Wow.
I'm even though trying to convince my mother, because lately, probably about 2 or 3 times, every single time when she washes the dishes, I'm like, Mom, I think we need to try these dishwasher pads. And it's like, I see all these spots on the glasses and black spots. I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. But now I'm about ready to convince her, because now we're gonna have to get through the pipes and clean them out. Because now our dishwasher's down.
So
I went to the post-convention tour in Orlando with Butch, and we were having one of the leaders there that was leading the group. I had a little discussion with him, and I said I had one suggestion, although I love the products because we had already been using them. I said I had one suggestion. I said, since I moved, all of my cleaning products, even my laundry products, are all in the same kitchen cabinet. I said, you really need to take some time and think about either putting them in different packaging so the packaging doesn't match, or putting different coating on the actual pods themselves. I said, because if I ever put a laundry pod in my dishwasher or vice versa, I said, because they're right next to each other.
and they
he
look
looks at me and he
exactly
goes-
the same.
He looks at me and he goes, you know, that's a
Hey.
really good thought. He said, I would have never thought of that. He said, because my wife does all that stuff, and he's writing notes and everything like this. So I'm waiting to see if that ever happens.
Good, Lorraine.
Lori?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Lori, put it in, take the pods out of what they're in, put them in a glass jar and put your own label on it. And then read it. Laundry, dishwasher.
Oh, come on, Elaine. That takes all
That's
the
a
fun
good
out of it.
point. Yeah.
That takes all the fun out of it.
Exactly.
Eating
But
them.
yeah, but
Yeah. So I want to get back to how this oil came about, right? So again, they went to the lab, they went to the scientists, and they said, we want to make this signature blend, and we want it to be effective, and we want, what are the properties of a good cleaning oil? So they looked at the properties that they were looking for, and they actually grabbed 36 different oils that had
Oh,
those
wow.
properties, right? So they took those 36 oils and they kept mixing and matching until they came up with this list right here of these 10 oils that were able, that gave them that unique smell that they were looking for, but also had the power to clean. And when we talk about, the power to clean, I can tell you, Elaine and I have wasted a lot of money on natural cleaning products because they just didn't clean well enough, or they didn't last long enough. Personally, I think doTERRA knocked it out of the park with this line right here. But here's the important thing. Here's the study behind it, right? They took these oils, once they put this abode oil together, and they took some Petri dishes and they put these different bacteria in there. Now I want you to look at that
Wow.
list of bacteria, right? We're talking E. coli, we're talking,
Yeah.
Staphylococcus.
right,
Oh,
staph, we're talking Kleb and aspergillus, right? That's black mold. So they didn't just go for these common everyday kind of low hanging fruit type of bacteria. They went for the serious stuff. And
I
with,
know. Yeah, that looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna
with
have to
every
invest in
single
that. Yeah.
study that they did, you can see what they did is they put a little disc in the tray, and they put 1 drop of abode oil on there, and then they put the bacteria in there. And you can see that the bacteria starts to grow, but as it encroached on that disc that had that drop of abode, it never inhibited the disc. Those oils were very effective in keeping that bacteria at bay. So hello, this wasn't accidental. This is extremely intentional when it came to putting these products together. One thing Elaine and I did notice about the multi-surface spray is that you can use too much of it, because we were just kind of spraying the counters and wiping them down, and we're doing our normal, 4, 5, 6 sprays, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoo, wow, that's kind of So, we're using less product to get the same benefits. So pretty, it's pretty cool that, that these products not only are effective in cleaning, but what the things that they're capable of cleaning and keeping off of your counters, right? It's just phenomenal. So, Carolyn, you were saying something about using the oils and getting some of this stuff for your classroom.
Mhm.
This is one of those things that would be extremely beneficial, I think, for keeping that classroom kind of clean. Because we all,
See, I'm in an autism support classroom, so it's like,
okay, so
it's
there's some
like,
weakness there.
yeah.
Yeah. So, so to wrap it up real quick, doTERRA has removed speculation and brought real science and real understanding that's not only powerful, but it directs us to, and it helps kind of bring clarity to the thing. Other oil companies don't have what we have because they haven't done what doTERRA has done, right? They're moving to the next phase. And the way Dr. Hill worded this is, whenever doTERRA moved to the next phase, it was as if they picked up the game ball and they went to a new stadium. And then eventually everybody would follow us to that new stadium because they're like, hey, what's doTERRA doing? Let's follow them. Let's see what they're doing. Let's kind of jump on their coattails a little bit. Well, this phase 3, they are picking up the game ball. They are moving to a new stadium, but this time they're going to turn around and they're going to lock the doors. They're not letting anyone else in. This is what they have accomplished. Nobody can be there because they haven't done the work that doTERRA has done. And when you have entities, well-renowned entities that come to you because they want to be a part of what you're doing, that speaks volumes, because they know that you have the only oils that have the potency and the consistency that doTERRA has. And together that just kind of makes us all stronger. And I just, this is where we are. Not all oils are created equally. We've known that for a long time, but now we have the science behind it, and we have proven to other folks that there are no other oils that can hold their candle to what doTERRA has, because Roseman, talk to people from Roseman University, when they talk about oil company number 4 that did not have the same potency or the same efficacy that doTERRA has. And it's just, there's no other comparable oils out there. This, because doTERRA did the work that they have done, this is what's going to enable them to go into mainstream and start talking about dosing and start talking about efficacy and have the ability to bridge that gap between traditional Western medicine and using alternative care to getting our bodies back to a healthier state, right? So that's all I got. I just wanted you guys to understand that that the oils that you have decided to be a part of your regimen and to be part of your overall health, they're top quality, and they definitely have you as their best interest. And together we're gonna take this to the next level, and I'm kind of excited to see where everything ends up. So if you ever had any doubt as to whether doTERRA oils are authentic, or are they everything that they say they are, the answer to that question is yes. And more importantly, there's the science that we have behind it to stand there and go, yeah, we have the Journal of Pharmaceutical and Biomedical Analysis, and there's other studies that are coming out now. It's just phenomenal. So anyway, what have you guys got for me? Any questions, any thoughts, concerns?
I actually have a question for you or for anybody.
What do you got?
Well, and I'm sorry for being off camera right now. Is for everybody and for you also is the laundry pods. What does anybody think about them? I have not tried them yet, and I'm going to, but my mother just got a new washer. I'm just, when you get like very finicky or something that something's gonna stick inside there, like the little pockets is what I want to call them. Has anybody ever tried them ever since they came out?
I have
I
a brand
have.
new, I have a brand new washing machine and dryer, and I have to say that our clothes are softer. I've never seen any buildup in the washer. I was very hesitant about using a pod in a front loading washing machine because that's always been a big no-no. But I've
Right.
not had any problems at all. None at all.
Now,
I-
do you put your little pod thing in where the detergent goes, or do you
No.
just like throw it in how you
Just
throw
throw
your
it in just like you
clothes
do
in?
your dishwasher. And if you use the dishwasher detergents, we were told by a dishwasher salesman that the worst thing in the world if you use pods in your dishwasher is to put the pod in the little dispenser thing. If you use
Yeah.
pod, you throw it in the bottom of the dishwasher.
Well,
don't-
we were not told that. We were told to like stick it in the
No, because it doesn't get to its high enough potency because the water never reaches it to dilute it to the point it needs to be. So I always so now I do the same
See,
thing
the
with
only-
the wash.
Right. See, the only thing is with our new washer, God forbid, it's like a little bit more bigger. And it's like the first time I was thinking about is like, throwing a pot in with the clothing, not in the detergent.
Right.
Because you never know, like most washer nowadays, like where you stick I call them little pockets of the dispenser, they're usually small, sometimes they're big, it all depends on the washer. And I was thinking about, like how you throw your clothes in, throw in a pod. And like,
Yep.
I was just curious, like what
Yeah,
everybody.
it says on the bag to throw it straight in with the clothes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Okay, there you have
I-
it.
yeah, from the bag. I used it to do a demo when I did an open house, and I soaked my dishcloth in it. That was
Okay.
disgusting. It was a clean dishcloth. Like I got it out of my drawer. I was like, I usually soak these every couple months and just get it all out. Wow.
Right.
Wow. So if you even like got it for just like extra heavy duty kinds of stuff, like I took one pod and put it in with all my dish rags. And
Right.
it was we were all kind of grossed out, but happy,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Cool.
See, the first time when the pods came out, for any other detergent, I'm like thinking, I call them little pockets, and I'm like, it's gonna stick to the thing. And I'm like,
no, I didn't have
Now,
any trouble with it.
now I know I would just throw it in the bottom.
Yeah.
Throw it
just
in
throw
the
it in the
bottom.
Throw it
bottom.
in. Okay, so
And if you
noted.
got a-
Yeah,
and
that's
if you
what I'm
got a
gonna do.
If you got a big washer and you're putting in a lot of clothes, they say you can even use 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
What, use two the pod things?
Yeah,
If it's a big load.
Yep.
big load or
Okay.
really, really dirty load.
Yep.
Yeah.
Angela,
That's I
great.
normally put like small loads in, even though I have certain days that I do my wash, and I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to do wash. I'm gonna do wash here, so leave me alone.
Throw a pot in. There you
But
go.
yeah, it's like, yeah.
So
But thanks for everybody's feedback.
Yeah.
can I ask for clarification? Just so the dishwasher pods are supposed to be thrown in the bottom of the dishwasher, not
That's
in the
not-
little.
That's not a
container.
doTERRA thing. That was from a dishwasher salesman that in the studies that they've done, it, how did she put it? It makes it dissolve faster because it has direct contact with the water and the water jets. So it breaks it apart sooner So it cleans your dishes longer.
Sometimes it doesn't release from the.
Yeah, it doesn't always
container.
release everything in the pod, in the little push thing, you know, the dispenser thing.
Okay, and then my other question is the laundry pods actually just get thrown in with the clothes. It does not go in the little dispenser.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, I guess this could be an everybody thing. My job today was like I'm just gonna put it out there, like we had a call crises team today.
Mhm.
It was like a high adrenaline afternoon. Adaptive, yes, no, does it work? I've never tried it. Should I? Considering being in that situation, everybody answer yes, no, maybe, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean?
Yeah.
So,
Do you,
yeah, Carolyn, we can talk more about that. But I think it's something that we should, you could consider pursuing and
Okay,
try it out. But we can talk
yeah,
more
let's
about that
talk about that then.
offline and
Yeah,
come up with a good game plan for you.
okay,
All right,
all right.
cool. So,
awesome.
any other
Thank you
questions?
so much.
Hey, it was fun hanging out with you guys tonight.
Thanks for all the
Thank you.
info.
Yeah,
Appreciate all the information.
You're welcome.
I've got my doTERRA list, what I need a.
And that list keeps getting longer and longer. Right?
Yes.
Make it your Christmas list.
Yeah.
Christmas wish list.
There you go.
So, all right, guys, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate you hanging out with me for a while.
Thank you.
Oh,
Enjoy the rest
Ange, hang on one second. Ange, have you heard how long they're going to keep the candy on? Is it just for the holidays? I wish they'd keep that on as a staple.
My understanding is it's just a holiday time frame.
Okay,
So
all right, that's too bad. I'll just have to buy more bags and throw them in the freezer.
there you go. That's it.
I already bought 4.
Wait, what candies?
The On Guard, it's dark chocolate, On Guard almonds and raisins. It is the
Never heard of that.
cherries.
Okay, seriously, my list is, I'm running
Yeah.
out of room on the back of an old
And you can't just
receipt.
buy one bag.
All right,
So, but anyway, okay, yeah. Thank you.
Caitlin, drop me an email or a text, and we'll or Carolyn,
Okay.
we'll connect. And,
Okay.
we'll get you
Good to
all
see
hooked up.
everybody.
Will do.
Same.
All right. See
Take
you
care.
guys. Take
Bye.
care.